disgusting that we are already talking about the July TBR, because why does the summer go so much faster than the winter? I mean, maybe for people in warmer climates, you can't wait for summer to be over, but as a Midwest person, why does summer always go by so fast and the winter drags? I mean, we gotta do it. We're already at our July TBR. Quite frankly, I failed pretty badly on... No, I've read 4 of my books for my June TBR. It's better than May. But once again, we're back with another whole new month of reads that I would like to get to in July. So anyways, there's not really much else to say. Let's go ahead and jump in. First up, we're starting with the new releases that are coming this month. And number 1, you know, that is on my radar is Our Little Secret by QB Tyler. So this is the 3rd book in the Secrets universe. However, they're standalone, so you don't have to read the other 2 if you just want to jump in and pick this one up. And this one is a boss employee. Of course, age gap romance. And also there's cheating in this one, which QB hasn't had cheating in one of her books in so long. And I'm so excited for it. Okay, no, we don't condone it in real life, but in a book, I love the angst, I love the drama, I love the tea that comes with it. And in this one, our hero, he is married, but who knows how that kind of all went down. These 2 were side characters in the previous books, so you do already kind of know them. Honestly, I don't really know what else is all in this, and honestly, I don't care. QB Tyler can publish her grocery list, and I'm gonna add it to my TBR. I cannot wait for this one to come out. Very, very excited. And from another one of my favorite authors, 5 Brothers by Penelope Douglas. So this one is so it's not a Why Choose, but it does follow 5 brothers. So you've read Try 6 Venom, which is another standalone by Penn. So that one follows Clay and Olivia, and Olivia has 5 brothers, right? Liv has all of the brothers, and so you see them all as side characters, and they live on like the other side of the tracks in town. And I honestly don't really know how like the heroine and things come into play in this one, but honestly I don't care because it's from Penelope Douglas and I'm going to read it. No, have I read Pirate Girls yet? No, but I have been in like one of the worst reading slumps of my entire life, so you best believe I'm not about to pick that book up right now. I'm saving that one for when I'm ready to give it my full and complete and great attention. Now, I don't think you have to read Try 6 Venom in order to read this one. I think it's more so, again, you're going to kind of get some extra background info on the characters, but I don't think that it's like pertinent that you read Try 6 Venom, even though I highly suggest it. It's a sapphic bully romance and I love it as well. Yeah, anything Penelope Douglas writes, once again, I'm gonna read. There are like 5 authors that I can say that about, and QB and Penn are 2 of them, so love that they're both releasing in July. Next up, okay, I'm gonna be that bitch. I'm plugging my own book here because it does release this month as well. On July 22nd, Starting Line by me comes out. So if you don't want to read it, no problem. But if you do want to read it, it is coming out on July 22nd. I'm going to have ARC signups starting the first week of July. Those all of my book stuff is always like posted on my Instagram. So like ARC signups and everything will be over on there. It's same, oh hey, it's McKay. But this is an Olympic swimmer and Olympic gymnast romance, friends with benefits, dislike to love, forced proximity sports romance, standalone sports romance. So TJ is America's Golden Girl. She's already been to one Olympics. She's on her way to another. But being an elite gymnast obviously takes a toll on her body, and she's starting to deteriorate and starting to wonder like, okay, how long can I really push myself for? Also, she doesn't know what a life is like outside of gymnastics because that has completely consumed everything in her life so far. And she's a part of this documentary that is following some Olympic athletes on their way to another summer games. And when she starts filming that, she realizes that she is also filming alongside Caleb is a 3-time gold medalist Olympic swimmer. He has a very bad boy kind of reputation. He's very cocky, very arrogant, not afraid to show the pride in himself when he wins, never afraid to back down from a challenge from anyone. And immediately when he first meets TJ, he's like, why does she hate me? And they actually had a run-in at the previous Olympics that she fully remembers and he has no recollection of. And they are both filming this documentary. If you want to read it, great. It'll be on KU. It'll be in paperback. It'll be on ebook. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'll leave it at that. Okay, that's all of the new releases. So now we jump into all of just the rest, right? I don't think I have any other new releases on this list, right? So, okay, next up, I want to read Charming Like Us by Krista and Becca Ritchie. So this is the 7th book in the Like Us series. I just finished Headstrong Like Us the other night. So I've been slowly but surely making my way through the Like Us series. I read the first 5 books last year, and then I took a bit of a break, and now I'm kind of jumping back in. And originally, I was not very interested in this one. It follows like the filming guy who films the TV show that they all do, and one of the bodyguards. So it's not like any of the kids of the the second gen. So I was kind of like, I don't really know if I care, but honestly, I'm really excited to get into this one. I like these two as side characters, and I'm excited to see how their story goes. So, I mean, I'm not really going to give a synopsis of this because I don't really know if you can just read this as a standalone. I mean, you can do whatever you want, so maybe you can, because then it's going to be an bodyguard, videographer romance. But yeah, I'm just excited to jump into it. So, and I've loved the Like Us series, so I'm excited to keep going with it. Okay, next up, The Lies We Steal by Monty J. So I have been seeing this series everywhere once again. When I went to add it to my TBR on Goodreads, I marked it as one to read back in like 2021. It has been on my TBR for years, but as always, it gets buried beneath all this other stuff, and I completely forgot about it. But I have had so many people reading this and loving this, and everyone's saying that it is like Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas and Legacy of God series by Rena Kent. So if you like both of those, you'll like this series. Well, those are two of my literal favorite series of all time. So yeah, I need to read this one and give it a go. Honestly, I don't really even know much of the premise. So I think it's 4 guys, once again, because isn't it always a group of 4? I think one of their girlfriends was murdered, and they're like getting revenge on her behalf, and it spans out over books. I think maybe everyone's bringing it back around because I think maybe is there a second generation series starting on this one soon? I don't know. It sounds great. It sounds right up my alley. Dark, messed up. I think maybe like bully a little bit. What can I say? I'm a sucker. So yeah, I want to read this one, and I need to bring it back around on my radar because I don't want it to like fall off again for years. Next up, The Bachelor by Marnie Mann. So I have not read a Marnie Mann book. I don't think this year I've read any of hers, where last year I was on such a hot streak. I read like 8 in a row almost, and I want to get back into them. So this is the 5th book, I think, in the Dalton Brothers series. And no, I still haven't read number 4, which is The Intern, and I still want to. However, I think actually it was on Marnie Mann's Instagram, she shared something about this one specifically, just like a random thing about it, and I was like, I need that right now. So I'm gonna skip over The Intern. They're all interconnected standalones, but they're all like rich hot men, say less. But in this one specifically, I want to say, is this one brother's best friend, and I think it's like lessons, like spicy lessons. Say less. I need it right now. So yeah, I'm adding it to my TBR. Also, I feel like just with how bad of a slump I've been in a slump ever since I finished God of War. Quite frankly, Legacy of Gods has just like killed everything else in my life, basically. I need something to just kind of pull me out. And I really think that this book could do it for me, because Marnie Mann's books are so fun. I love them. They're quick, they're fast paced, they're hot, like they're just enjoyable reads. So I'm adding this one to the list. I think it's going to be a winner for me. Next up is one of your guys' suggestions. So I did a video a couple of weeks ago that was like you reacting to books you want me to read. And I went through that and I added quite a few to my TBR. And there was one in there that I have to say, Bite the Woman That Feeds by Penelope Barsetti. When I first saw this cover, I was like, I don't really know about that. And then when I looked at the description and the first thing I saw was vampires, I was like, I really don't know about that. Because I've never really been in the vampire craze. You know, I never read the Twilight books. I didn't watch Vampire Diaries when it was on. So like I never really got on that train. However, when I was reading the description, you guys can see in that video, this blurb is one of the best blurbs I've ever read in my life. It hooked me, okay? It took everything. It's like, oh, you don't think you like these things? Actually, I think you're gonna love it. And this blurb, I was like, this sounds amazing. I need it right now. So I'm adding it to my TBR. So it's a vampire romance. And I think, okay, if I'm remembering correctly, our heroine, she's maybe supposed to marry someone else. Like, I don't know if she's a vampire as well. I don't know if everyone's vampires. I don't know the lore, obviously, because I haven't read it. But I think she's maybe supposed to marry someone else. But then, like, war happens, and then this other vampire king comes, like, marching in and is like, oh, you're actually gonna be mine. And then, like, takes her for himself. Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you. I'd like to read that, so I'm adding it to July's TBR. I mean, you can see in that video, if you go back and watch that one, instantly I was like, yeah, I need that. So we're adding that one. And another one that you guys gave me, Apex by Nova Kane. So this one it's either MFM or MMF. It's like street racing or like motocross racing or like bikes or something. I don't know, something to do with racing, which I love. And then also I think it's like hate to love or like enemies to lovers. I don't know. Once again, it was like when I read the description of it in that book, I was like, this sounds great. Or in that video, I was like, I want to read that. Yep, added to the TBR. So yeah, I'm adding it to the TBR for this round. I don't really have much else to say because I don't really remember. I don't remember the full synopsis, but it sounded good. Go look it up yourself. Then again, another one, Ruthless Rage by Casey King. So this one is a why choose, which I really have been craving. I think maybe that I need to kind of do that to also help bust my slump a little bit. So this one, I think our heroine, is she? No, she's not. I think she's down on her luck, maybe. I think in the description, right, I think it's like that she's seen like the worst of the world or something, and then she either ends up like getting kidnapped or something, and then she ends up with this like motorcycle club / like mafia group with these 4 guys, maybe paying debts to them. I don't really know. I don't really care. It sounded good. I want to read it, and I'm adding it to the list. All of my TBR videos, I like sit down and I'm like, I'm so excited about all these books, and then when I have to like say what they're about, then I'm always like, what are they about? Did I even read a description of them? I don't know. Next up, I think this is the last one that I had on this list that you guys had recommended. Not saying that I won't get to other ones. I have more on my TBR. These are just the ones that I chose that like right now are really tippity top of my radar. And that is Choosing Theo by Victoria Aveline. Once again, it is one that is not in my typical realm of books that I read because it is an alien romance. And once again, I'm kind of thinking that maybe that's what I need to help me bust out of this slump that I'm in. So this one, I think our heroine, she ends up on this planet of aliens, and when she's there, then in order to like stay there, like in this agreement with them, she has to then like abide by their customs, which is like she has a year to pick a husband, I think, an alien husband, if she wants to stay, and then she ends up, I'm assuming, choosing Theo. So this was one, I think this was Felicia's recommendation that she had submitted, and it was one that I remember seeing like in the comments, people were like yes to Choosing Theo, or like on something I remember seeing more people like echoing that sentiment. So why not give it a go? The only other alien romance I've ever read are Ice Planet Barbarians, and I love the Ice Planet Barbarians books. So I'm thinking that this is gonna be a fun one. I don't really ever read aliens, so I think it'll just be fun for something kind of different. Then we have The Sacrifice by Chantal Tessier. So this is the 3rd book in the Lord series, and this is the last book that I have to read in the series because I recently read The Sinner. So I'm once again, I don't honestly even know necessarily the like full premise of this one. What I do know is that it's messed up, and I love Tyson as a side character. So basically the whole entire premise of the Lord series is this secret society where all of these people are obviously involved in it. If you're a Lord, you like don't ask questions. If you're asked to do something, you just do it, and you get initiated at this one university, Barrington University, where all of the Lords go, and you basically are in like not training, you're in like what would initiation for 4 years. So your first 3 years you have to be celibate, and you basically just do whatever the Lords ask of you, and then if you make it through all of those years and prove your loyalty, then in your 4th year you are like inducted, and then also you are given a lady who then is, you know, their ladies. So that's kind of how it always goes down. And in this one, I don't really know the circumstances between Tyson and the heroine, because in The Sinner, it's like that Tyson's lady like died or something, but then I'm like, is she actually not dead? Did she like maybe run? Is that the heroine in this one, or did he actually like have a lady that died and then now his heroine in this one is a different one? I don't quite know, but listen, if I know one thing, I know I'm always gonna have fun going into a Chantal Tessier book. They're so fun. Carnage is still my favorite out of them all. But I'm really looking forward to getting into this one, mostly because Tyson has really intrigued me as a side character. So I will keep you guys posted, obviously, when I finish that one. But then I'm caught up on the Lord series, which again is what I'm trying to like stay on top of, is staying on top of series. Then I have a Stalker, Raw by Belle Aurora. So this one is a dark romance. So actually, I have it. The reason that I'm putting this one back on my TBR too is because I think, is it this one? This it? Yeah. Because I have this beautiful Mystic Box Edition. But here's the thing, I am once again running out of space on my shelves, and I'm a Mystic Box sub, but honestly, most of their boxes that they've done recently that you get with the sub are ones that it's like I don't necessarily care about, and it's always then they're like one-off sales that I like then really want. So I'm starting to be like, this is a lot of money for books that like are just kind of collecting dust at this point on my shelves. So I'm really trying to now make it a point to read my special editions that I have from like Mystic and decide like if I'm going to keep them or not, because I don't want to get rid of them and then like read them and love them and be like, oh, I wish I never got rid of those. But I also don't want them all just like sitting around if I'm not gonna ever read them. So, and Raw has been one that I've wanted to read for years. So I don't really even know much more past the premise except that it's a dark stalker romance, which I love dark stalker romances. So I think I'm really gonna like this one. And honestly, I want to love it because the special edition is beautiful and it has a second one, but we will see. That's why I want to like give it a go and then see, because otherwise if not, then I'm gonna sell them. Okay, next, Flurry by Allison Rimes. So this one is a hockey MMF romance, and I think it's Coach's daughter actually, which from the blurb, I don't think it says that. But once again, I saw Allison Rimes post on Instagram, like one of those things with like the book in the middle and then all the little arrows pointing to things. And I was like, she has a Coach's daughter one. And I think also it's brother's best friend as well in here. I'm like, I didn't know that. So I want to read this one. Also, you know, I can never get enough of hockey romances. It's my kryptonite. What can I say? So I want to read this one. I've been wanting to read another one from Allison Rimes. And this was a series where one of the other books you guys had suggested to me to read, but it's one that I think was like Secret Baby. And I'm like, y'all know I can't really do Secret Baby. I don't know, maybe if I love this one then I could be convinced to read the Secret Baby one, but I'm like, then I feel like, you know, it's in the same series, you know, we're still picking it up. And last but not least, so what I'm going to start doing is Nikki from Nikki and Bookland got a TBR jar, and I never saw the appeal of having a TBR jar because I was like, mood reader, I don't get it. But because like I said, I am running out of room on my shelves and I have quite a few physical books that I have not read, and if I don't like them, I don't want to keep them. So I made a little TBR mug here. So I have all of my physical books that I have on my shelves but I haven't read in here. And so now what I'm going to do every single month, my last little space that I have in my TBR journal is going to be reserved for a pull from my TBR mug. And also because I want to make a priority of like actually reading a physical book once in a while, because I just don't really ever do that. So that's gonna be my last pick every month. Now, here's the thing. I do have like the entire Boston Underworld series by A. Zavarelli. So obviously if I pull like Thief, which is book 5, I'm going to read book 1 and like so on and so forth, because I don't want to like jump in the middle of a series, obviously. But I really like, this will be one that I genuinely want to make sure that I'm reading every month. So we will see. We got Saint by A. Zavarelli. Well, look at how that worked out. Okay, well, so it's Saint by A. Zavarelli, so I'm going to read Crow. I'm pretty sure these are interconnected standalones, but I don't like jumping around. So I'm going to pull Crow off the shelf, so then that way I keep track of it. And just in case if I don't read it, I'm just going to put the little slip of paper where it goes on the bookcase, just in case. And then yes, I have thought about what will happen then if I take the Saint piece of paper out, but then I still have not read Saint. Then it'll just be like Crow would be, you know, whatever. It's my own messed up system. Who knows how long this will actually stick around either. I'd like to say that I'll stick with it, but also we never know. So that's what we're gonna do. So now Crow by A. Zavarelli is my last one on my TBR for this month. I've actually been meaning to read this series for years. I think you guys have always been yelling at me to read it too. So I think the heroine, I think her best friend died and he's in the mafia and she wants to get revenge on him, right? Because she thinks that he had something to do with it. And then they end up like getting together. I don't know. I guess we'll find out, but this is the last one on my TBR. So anyways, that is it for today's video. This is going up on Friday. So then on next Tuesday, I will have my June wrap up. I'm still trying to film a Legacy of Gods video at some point. I've just finished my starting line edits. So I have a little bit more time now. So we'll see. That'll just be like a bonus video for you guys. And then I think next Friday, I'm going to have my Masked Men recommendation video, because why not? So anyways, that's it for today, and I will see you when I see ya.